In this video tutorial, we are going to build a Xamarin Diagram application that creates table nodes and uses the Diagram context menu to add or delete dynamically rows from the table nodes. We start by creating an empty Xamarin project of type mobile app. We choose to support all platforms and use blank layout. In the root folder of the project, we copy a new folder called References, which contains all libraries used by the diagramming control in the various platforms. Then we start to add references to the projects for the different platforms. The main project needs references to the common, diagramming, and licenses libraries. The iOS project needs reference to diagramming and common, as well as diagramming.ios and common.ios. The same is true for the UWP and the Android projects. They need references to the general common and diagramming libraries, and to the common and diagramming libraries for the respective platform. We edit the XAML page of the shared project. We declare a mapping to the diagram assembly. We delete all initially generated code with the exception of the stack panel. Let's make it expand on the whole work area. Then we initialize a diagram view instance, which we provide with a name. We make it expand to take the whole client area. In the code behind file for the XAML form, we first add a reference to the diagramming namespace. Then we get the diagram that is created automatically for the diagram view that we declared in the UI. We set its behavior to link tables, which means that mouse drag over empty area will create table nodes, and dragging the mouse from one table to the other will link them. If we take a look in the online documentation, we can see that the diagram class has many properties. Lots of them are for customizing the appearance. We use some of them in our case. We also set Show Context Menu to True, which means that right mouse click or tab will show the built-in context menu for a node. This is the context menu supported by the diagram library. We will customize it later. We add some more styling settings to the diagram. These are mainly brushes and strokes for the table nodes and the diagram links. Let's compile the program and run it from this computer as a UWP application. Here it is. We can draw table nodes with the mouse. When we drag the mouse between nodes, they are linked. When we right-click on a node, the context menu appears. The context menu supports delete, edit, and modify. We will extend this context menu with the Add and Remove Row buttons as we explained earlier. We go to the Project folder and create a new subfolder called Resources. There we copy the two images that will be used by our context menu. Then we copy them in the root directory of the UWP project. We copy them in the drawable subfolder of resources in the Android project. In the Solution Explorer, we add the images to the Android project and make sure their build action is set to Android resource. In the iOS project, we add them to the Assets catalogs as two image sets, one for each image. In the UWP project, we add them to the project through the context menu and make sure their build action is set to content. With that, we cover the requirements of the different platforms on how to include an image to be used by the application. Let's extend the context menu now. First, we need to handle the Radial Menu Created event. There we clear all items of the menu and add a new menu item that is represented by the Add Row image. We handle the click event for this menu item, and in its event handler, we get the table node that triggered the event. Then we call the Add Row method for this table node. Let's build the application. So, right-clicking on a node in our UWP application renders the updated context menu. Next to the standard buttons, we see our plus sign image, and when we click on it, a row is added to the table. For now, these rows are not directly editable, so we will change that. We set the Allow In-Place Edit property of the diagram to true. Then we handle the Cell Clicked event, which is raised exactly when a cell in a table node is clicked. There we call the Begin Edit method, whose parameters all can be taken from the event args object, the table node that raised the event, the cell that needs to be edited, and the position. We rebuild the sample and deploy it. If we add a row and click on a cell, it becomes editable. Another one, we can type it in as well. What we are left to do now is implement the Delete Row menu. We want to delete the row that was clicked. We add a new menu item to the context menu, this time using the Delete Row image. We handle its clicked event. Let's rename the event handler. Then we get the table node that triggered the event, and we will use the cell from point method of table node to identify the cell that was clicked. The method returns a Boolean value indicating whether a cell was clicked. If that's the case, we remove the row that was clicked. Let's rebuild and run the UWP application. We add several rows. If we click on one of them and decide to delete it, it is removed. Let's try again. Yes, everything looks to work fine. And that's the end of this video tutorial. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in MindFusion Developer Tools.